on the street chasing wrong from right. Eyes like fire burning through the haze. Truth is a weapon, cuts through the maze. Some call her trouble, some call her brave. Digging up secrets they tried to save. A real deal around town. She's breaking it down. Spinning the wheel, exposing the sound. They despise her, they praise her, but she won't slow down. Real deal around town. The truth's her cry. Shadows, they curse her name. Afraid of the spotlight she brings to the game. But the grateful ones, they cheer in the dark for the spark she ignites in their weary hearts. Some call her danger, some call her hope. She's the thin line on the tightrope. The sound. They despise her, they praise her, but she won't slow down. Real deal around town. The truth's her crown, yeah. The sound. They despise her, they praise her, but she won't slow down. Real deal around town. The truth's her crown, yeah. The truth's her crown, yeah.
Well, hi, everybody. We're back. Real Deal is back. Before we get started too far, I want to welcome anybody who popped in here from Groton, Connecticut. I realized after I posted the notice for this meeting or this video that I didn't specify which Groton. And this is Groton, Massachusetts, who is being discussed today. I'm plugging in my computer. My battery light was coming on. Okay, but I didn't say Groton, Massachusetts in the title, so I know that YouTube and the algorithm is going to send people here from Groton, Connecticut. Welcome aboard. You're welcome to stay. These are very interesting stories, no matter where you're from. But this is all happening in Groton, Massachusetts. So anyways, I wanted to clear that up right from the beginning. I'll change the title later. I don't know if that will have any impact. I'll change the thumbnail. I don't know. I don't know what I'll do. But anyway, we're here. We're here, and I'm in Townsend, Massachusetts right now, and we're talking about one of our illustrious citizens, Gary Shepherd, who owns ShepCo. And he's going through his problems here in Townsend and with the Ethics Commission, and God knows who else is coming down the pike to get him. But right now, Groton is getting their hands into him. And yes, they are. They've been dealing with him all through November, and they're not too happy. So what I'm going to do tonight is show you. I'm not going to just talk about it and people can say Cindy's lying, she's making stuff up, she's being a jerk. No, I'm not. I am going to pull up video from the Groton channel. And that is Groton's answer to TCAM. We have TCAM in Townsend, and Groton has the Groton channel. That's the public access stuff. So, let's see. I'm going to start doing some things. We're not going live. Well, I'm live right now, but I'm not pulling up a live video. I'm pulling up a recording. And we're going to be doing 2 meetings. The Conservation Commission is who put a halt to whatever Gary's doing behind me. This is a picture. The picture behind me is, which way am I going? I'm going to go this way. If you look up in the back, way up right about there, there's one of his vehicles working in the dirt somewhere. This is on Old Air Road. If you're heading up Old Air Road, like you were heading to the old Neshoba Hospital, it's not that far up. You have this is on the left. This picture is depicted. What's on the left if you're heading from Groton towards Air on Old Air Road. On the opposite side is the Groton Hills Music Center, I think. Indian Hills, Groton Hills, I don't know. But I've seen it listed 2 different ways, so I'm not sure. But he's also doing work on the other side of the street. I have pictures of that, but I don't think I'm going to mess with them. He's putting up a stone wall. The Groton Conservation Commission will show some pictures that they have, more pictures than I have. I went down there and I took this is my own picture, and I took some pictures of the stone wall. Whatever, it's there. But the Conservation Commission, in the video I'm about to show you, will display some of those pictures as well that they took on a site visit. So basically, the story here is Gary initiated work. The work behind me was done without applying for any permits, without going before the Conservation Commission. And right over my shoulder is wetlands. There's St. James Brook, something. There's wetlands behind me, and right behind me, right where my shoulders are, right there. And he's supposed to have some kind of permit, and or at least what they call an RDA. He doesn't have any of that. The property is listed. They have an agricultural. It's a APR, ARP, something. It's agricultural. They have an agricultural restriction, but that doesn't grant him a free rein. Townsend lets Gary do whatever he wants, but he thought he could do the same thing in Groton, apparently. I'm not pulling up the Townsend Conservation Commission to show you that Gary gets to do whatever he wants. And the same token, because he was pulling the same thing in Townsend, and Townsend Conservation let him get away with it. But Groton is not playing that game. So, but we do not have any properties. I don't believe we have any properties that have an agricultural restriction on them. You may have zone things through tax deferments or tax reductions to get your property into Chapter 61 or something. This is not it. This is an agricultural restriction. It's permanent. In fact, I don't know what the P stands for, but it's a permanent restriction when you have, and this property is permanently restricted for agriculture. It must be up. And that's where Gary's argument is, well, I can do all this. No, you can't, because you still need to go before the Conservation Commission. And you're going to see some of the things between the 2 meetings. The first meeting is more cordial. The second meeting, which Gary doesn't attend, Gary actually attended a meeting here in Groton. He attended the first meeting. Gary doesn't usually bother attending meetings in Townsend. He just, whatever you're going to do, I'm going to get away with it anyway. So he doesn't have to attend meetings. But in Groton, he did attend the first meeting. The second meeting he didn't go to, and that's when they did the stop work order. But I don't want to tell the story too quickly. I'm going to let you watch it yourself. So it's going to take me a sec. I'm going to pull up. This is recordings. And what am I doing? Okay. Oh boy. I think this is it. That is it. Okay. This is, I'm going to try to get this going. So hang in there. Hey, you know, I got to deal, I got to go slow so I don't mess it up on you. I got to get the right window open so I can play with this. Okay, so we're going to start it now.
That brings us to unpermitted work off Old Air Road. Charlotte, do you have an update for us on this? Any pictures?
Well, there's work. Are you Mr. Shepherd? Okay. So there's work going on. I spoke with Mr. Shepherd like a few days ago. I think they're trying to get this area ready for planting. Is that correct? Clean out the.
If you could come and sit at the table, that would be great. Thank you.
Can I say hello to you all? It's been 8 or 10 years. I'm back.
Thank you.
I didn't think I'd be back, but I'm back. Go ahead.
Yeah, so there is work going on. It's agricultural related work within, it's pretty close to James Brook. So the reason why I asked you to join the meeting is because it has to go through us, well, the Conservation Commission, to be approved before you start the work.
Well, too late. I started the work, unfortunately.
Yes, we can tell.
So, can I back up a little?
Sure,
I'm happy to be as fast as anybody or faster. I think we all know the project. You all may remember me, you may not. Hopefully it was a reasonable experience, and I had a conversation with Charlotte. I don't know when you took those pictures, but you asked us to put up erosion control, so we did. But when we did 170 last year across the street, I didn't have to come in. When we built the stone wall along Old Air Road, which was also within that region, we didn't come in. And when we did the lower area of those pictures, which was right up against the brook, and it was pretty aggressive, we didn't come in. So I felt that that was a precedent, and here we are. So we did. I did have some conversations about the stone wall across the street. I got some emails on those, and I don't put anybody under the bus but myself. So we went ahead, not assuming that we were in a problem. So whatever you think is fair and reasonable, whatever you want. I can't put the weeds back. I can't put the diseased apple trees back, and all the heavy work is now done, and I'm at your mercy.
All right, you ready for some questions?
So Gary operates from it's easier to ask forgiveness than to ask permission. And that's how things used to get done 30 years ago. And he still tries to do it, his whole business that way. And it's kind of fallen apart, in my opinion.
Let's start with Olin.
So there's another thing on the other side of the road, but start with this. What's your plan here? What's your intent?
The intent was to create an aesthetically appealing site for folks that go to the music center and drive down Old Air Road. That old orchard that we can see. Are these pictures different?
No, they're all the same.
No, this one's different than that one. But
No,
Oh, it's just a weird coloration.
the monitor might be just.
okay.
Same
So
pictures.
that hillside, that whole area had trees, and it was really difficult to mow. So it was a matter of timing and a variety of other things that we just didn't get over there. It would have been nice to have been here in August, but it didn't work. So we're here now. We pulled out the stumps. We pulled out some of the invasives. We pulled out the diseased apple trees. We pushed off and got a grade on. We determined early on that if there ever was a problem, we wanted to have the berm on the lower side where it is. And there's some other material that are in piles that you can't, maybe stumps and maybe other debris that will be trucked off of there. And then that other material will go up, but we didn't want to push it back up until I came for a visit. But we are at that point now that the subgrade is in place.
So this is a temporary berm, and the intent is to push it back up the hill when you're done?
Yeah.
Okay, and you've currently installed erosion controls between it and James Brook?
Yeah. Now, I think it's a little deceiving. I heard you say 50 feet, and I think I talked to Charlotte, said 200 feet. Well, I think we're more than 100 feet. I haven't run a tape out, but we're certainly within 200 feet. I don't know that. Where'd you take the picture from?
This is taken from Old Air Road.
Oh, it's okay, so it may not give the whole distance.
Yeah, a little hard to tell from there. We didn't want to trespass.
but-
I think down by the other side, you're within, close to that.
What's that?
Yeah, so what is the state? This was the state as of Saturday. What's there right now?
Not much different.
Other than you've got an erosion controls there on the downhill side of this berm.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. Is this part of a farm plan, or have you filed a farm plan? I realize
So,
it's an
you
agricultural
know,
field.
I guess we can debate the farm plan piece, but I did have the conversation with APR last year when we did that across the street. But if you're looking for a farm plan that, like a manure plan or something like that, there is not one, and there wasn't one across the street either.
Oh, okay. I just want to know if this was part of agricultural activity or basically just.
So I don't want to use this as a crutch, but yeah, it's all APR land, it's all protected land, and the goal is to get it so it's in a productive agricultural use.
All right. Well, our main concern is to make sure that when there's a heavy rain, all this dirt doesn't end up in James Brook. That's really what we don't want to see. Now, are we also discussing the thing on the other side of the road right now, Bruce, or?
Let's just discuss this one and we'll go around again.
Okay, that's, maybe we should have a sidewalk and sort of figure out what the plan ought to be.
Okay, let's go with Larry.
So the berm you have at the bottom there, and I saw a couple others up the hill too as well. Those are all gonna get pushed back into the hill. That's basically the loom.
Yeah, some
grass and-
sod and thatch, and
So that'll get pushed back up.
there's 2 piles up there, the debris.
And you plan on doing that soon?
I would.
Do you have any intentions of doing anything other than the silt fence to protect it from eroding? Or like, we had some issues with across the street, I remember.
Yeah, but we caught them all.
We caught them all, but it was a lot.
We also had 5-inch rainstorms on a Christmas day that, so we came
We
in.
don't want you doing that again this year.
No,
Christmas Day.
and I think I learned from that, we're not gonna let that happen, but that was about 40 acres going into one pond that was overflowing, and there was a massive amount of rain coming in.
So this gets dressed back up and then possibly the hay or whatever.
It would be, yeah.
And I think you should take a closer look at, right about what we're looking at on the map here, on the picture here, because it is close. It's closer than 100 feet.
Well, when you guys go for a walk, we can measure it.
So that's.
And I'm not gonna split hairs over 50 or 55 feet. If you want erosion control, we'll
Erosion
do something
controls in,
different.
I'm happier. Like you said, you would have liked to have done this in August, but it didn't happen. So we would have too, with something we could grow by now.
We may not agree on means and methods, Larry,
Yeah.
but dormant seeding can work, and sometimes it can work better than spring seedings,
Oh, yeah.
in my opinion.
Okay, John.
I can't really add anything that hasn't already been said. Again, August would have been great, you know, it's not too many heating degree days now to get anything to grow.
Don't expect it's gonna grow and flourish right now.
What's that?
I don't expect it to grow and flourish right now.
Is that, I mean, that's the only hang up I've got. It just should have been done at a better time.
Okay, Peter.
So what is the status of the land? Is it in agriculture or not?
Oh, it's APR,
Well, APR is a,
protected, agricultural restricted.
right, but it's agriculturally restricted, but is it currently in agriculture?
It was, yes.
Because the apple trees came down, I don't know, many years ago.
Some of them did, and we probably took 100 out right now.
Okay, are you deriving income from the land?
No, we asked the local orchards if they were interested, and they weren't interested. Matter of fact, they told us they were concerned that those diseased trees would be impacting their trees not far away.
Because to be in agriculture, don't you have to derive income? From the
So
land?
across the street, we're certainly deriving income.
I'm talking about this land.
It wasn't suitable to derive income. So that's why we're doing what we're doing, to be within compliance of the
So
API.
it's currently not in agriculture.
It is in agriculture, but it is not producing an income.
He's right, basically, because being the fact that it's an APR farm, it can't be anything else, okay? The bottom half, he's been baling hay off of, okay?
Yeah.
So by right, that's an extension. Do you have to have every square inch?
It's fallow.
It's what?
It's fallow.
Okay. It just bothers me that all that stuff is down that close to the stream and we had no idea that was happening.
My apologies. Like I said, Peter, we've done this 3 times without sitting here once.
Not anything that visible.
Yeah, yes, the lower section, right up against the brook, was plowed and harrowed, was open furrowed. That whole piece, that lower piece, even the piece below where the beavers have impacted had been rolled under.
Okay.
I might have pictures, I hate to get to the point.
Okay, I'm just saying that.
Remember there was a farm stand?
I never got a call from anybody on the lower half. I was getting calls all over the place on this.
Sure.
So like I said,
There was a farm stand down below. Do you
yeah,
remember that? And then there were pens and there was paddocks and all that
Yeah.
stuff. So we tore the farm stand down, we ripped out all those paddocks and fences and all of that. And then everything that was down there from James Brook all the way to the tree line on either side of that entry path that goes in there, I can't really call it a driveway or a road, was plowed and harrowed.
okay.
You good, Peter?
It was.
He says I'm good.
All right, Ben.
Well, I mean, I remember being plowed now, and obviously, okay.
I guess just because you weren't before the commission in the past when you did that work doesn't mean you weren't supposed to be and apply for a permit to do that work, but from the commission. So I think that's something.
I'm sorry, I don't know if I'm getting deaf or it's an echo, but try that again. It's something about I did work and didn't apply. We always applied for permits.
But if you did past work that was in a wetland area and you didn't come before the commission to apply for a permit.
No, we had asked, we went through a whole permit process 8 years ago.
Okay, so let's return to what's happening here. I appreciate that you're trying to make this space more beautiful and doing work to make the agriculture more productive. But my understanding is that it's going to sit just soil all winter long, where rain will be raining down and bringing soil down towards that stream. Is that correct? It's going to look like this all winter long?
It could.
Yeah. My other thing I don't totally understand is how are you going to pull all that dirt back without putting equipment in near the stream or in the wetland that is adjacent to the stream?
So is do you have a picture of the excavator?
Sorry?
So we have many excavators
Okay.
with varying reaches and varying capacities.
Okay.
And we wouldn't be sitting on the grass.
Okay.
We'd be sitting uphill. We'd be able to swing it up. And then while that's happening, we'd be able to sort out. So find a rock, find a boulder, find a stump, you cast to the side, and then you just grade it upward from there.
And the other thing is, I think you maybe alluded to this, there's a beaver dam just downstream of all this, and the water level of the stream has been rising over the last couple of weeks. So where the water is right now isn't where it's going to probably be in a month or two. So just
I hope that's not the case, because during the email exchange, we've talked a little bit about the beaver problem that we couldn't see during the summer.
Yeah.
And now that the leaves have fallen off, we can find where they are and have to go for a permit to have them eradicated or removed or relocated or whatever word you want to use. That area down below, up until this year, we were able to cut it. It wasn't the best, but we were able to cut it.
Yep.
You can't cut it now.
It's getting wet. Yeah. Okay, I have no more
The
questions.
good news, if we want to just have a fun-spirited conversation, with as much vegetation as there is down there on that flat land, it also acts as a filter. I'm not saying that you won't see siltation or you won't see something like that, but it would have to be pretty heavy. And I believe that the method that we chose to do to put that berm on the lower side, it wasn't done in a vacuum, was to make sure that if there was heavy rains like we had seen before, that we'd be able to capture that, slow that down, hold that back, and then it would migrate through there much slower.
I appreciate that.
Okay, and my only comment is, if you had a farm plan, it would tell you what you needed to do when you start working near wetlands. It's not a permit to do whatever you want. Since you don't have one, just making sure that what you do doesn't impact the wetland, I think is sufficient for me. And the installation, of the controls, which you did, and then sort of an ongoing monitoring of that as we go through the winter would be important. And then as you rake the material back away from the berm, away from the stream, I think that will begin to stabilize this. And then, just watch it over the winter and add additional erosion controls as needed. And I think that would satisfy me. I don't think it needs a filing. I will leave it up to other people to decide whether that's true. But I think working this as an agricultural field, keeping it fallow, even if one day you may want to hay it, if you can hay it on that kind of a slope, I don't know. But
John, I agree, it won't be fun. However, it's part of the requirement, and we offered it to the orchard and they said no.
yeah, well, it would be great to see some round bales coming down the hill.
No, it wouldn't.
No question.
They went up in the street.
When do you plan on planting it?
Oh, I would think that probably timothy and orchard grass and maybe even some clover, even though I don't like clover, but it stabilizes pretty quick and it spreads and.
When?
Excuse me?
When?
In a perfect world, we'll still seed it this year.
Okay.
Perfect. Thank you.
All right, Charlotte, do you
In
have
a
any
non-perfect
questions?
world, we may put some type of soil
Great.
stabilizing seed down there to get through the winter and then have to readdress it in the spring. It's green manure.
Charlotte, do you have anything?
Is it something that you plan to like, is it an ongoing work that you plan to do like on a seasonal basis or anything like that? Because then maybe a filing would be good because you'd have something with
I think
us.
I'm done.
Okay.
I thought I was done 2 years ago, actually.
So what's the pleasure of the board here? Are we requesting Mr. Shepherd to do a filing? Or do you think the instructions that we have given in here tonight is sufficient, given the circumstances? Nolan, go ahead.
I'd like to see it because I'm still worried about, nothing you do now is going to stabilize that over the winter. There just isn't enough time for anything to grow. And I'm worried about winter rainstorms and early spring rainstorms before something can pop up. So I'd like to be very careful about sequencing this. When are you going to move this stuff up? When are you going to move erosion controls? Because I can see right now this berm is probably catching a lot of stuff that's going to be coming down from this hill over the winter. So I want to see it on the ground. I can't tell how close this is to the brook and what's between it and the brook, really. You can't tell from this picture. I don't know if we need a filing, but we do need an agreement and a plan. And I think we need to see it on the ground to work that out.
All right, should we invite Gary back on the 25th and have a site walk?
Preferably he's there with us on the sidewalk so he can explain what is it he's planning on doing, and we can kind of work out what should be done and what sequence and when.
Gary, what's your availability on the Saturday before the 25th in the morning?
One of you had said you didn't want to trespass. I can assure you that won't be the case. You can do whatever you'd like. I got nothing to hide and a pretty clear view. We could just drive down the road. It's pretty obvious what we're doing. So feel free. TMI, but you said on a Saturday from now until Thanksgiving, I've got 4,000 turkeys to kill, so that's pretty much a Saturday event. And as much as you guys are a priority, that's a very high priority because it's one and done. So if you want to go look at it, go look at it. If you think I need to come back, I'll come back. We'd like to get the rubble, we'd like to get the sticks out of there, we'd like to get the tree stumps out of there, we'd like to keep moving because weather's in our favor. We're not in mud, and as soon as if we were to get one of those storms that you're concerned about, we're all done. I'm not silly enough to drag it through the fields.
What's the easiest way to get to the other side of the brook?
The easiest way to get to the other side.
Yeah, in other words, do you have any stream crosses in there, no bridges or anything like
This is
that?
the old road.
Oh, okay.
Drive in through the gate, and there's an old gravel path that's been there since I don't know when. You just stay right on that gravel path, go right up to the tree line, and you'll see it right along the edge of the tree line.
Okay.
So just to be clear, we have your permission to enter the property and look around. And take
Excuse me?
pictures. Just to be clear, we have your permission to enter the property, look around, take pictures.
Hey, I'd like you to just tell me, send me a message, give me a call, whatever, so that if somebody says to me, hey, there's a dozen people out there having a picnic, I can inform the folks across the street.
Well, I might just go there and look around at an opportune time for me then, as long as I just want to be clear that I have your permission.
Listen, I'm happy to cooperate, I just
Okay.
need that notification, that's all.
Okay, I just have a question as someone who's relatively new to this. So because it's agricultural land, the rules that we would normally apply to residents don't apply here? Because I feel like if we saw a resident doing this, we would freak out and there would be all kinds of red flags.
There's
So I just
more
wanted to
leniency with agricultural land than normal land.
understood. Okay.
Although that ends at 50 feet from a stream.
Yeah.
And so we have to figure out, are we 50 feet from a stream or is that?
Well, look at
John?
10.4.
The question I got when we were looking at Carl Flowers, when he wanted to do some logging, he could get pretty close. It wasn't,
50 feet.
Yeah, I think it was 25.
Well, maybe it was 25.
Yeah, that's right.
You're right.
I think, John, I didn't run a tape out, but I can tell you where.
I'm just saying,
I'm just trying to understand.
Yeah.
the
Yeah,
rules.
10.4 agriculture is where that's listed.
Okay.
I just, you have to look at it.
Okay, I'll do that. Thanks.
So,
What's that one,
are
Larry?
you available to come back on the 25th?
you should be out done slaughtering by then.
I'll be done on the 22nd, I hope.
The day before.
And are you planning on doing anything to this in the meantime? So,
Yeah, I'd like to get the debris out of there.
does that mean removing the berm or?
No, I can leave the berm.
Okay.
Just taking the stumps and rocks and junk.
So so long as the activity is above the berm, I'm worried about right now that I don't like the berm there. On the other hand, that's the only thing
He's
that's
not
gonna
gonna
save our
change the
butt all
berm,
winter.
all of it. He's gonna pick it out with an excavator with a thumb and rotate a bucket probably, and he's just gonna pick out debris and get it out of the
It's all
berm,
piled
and
up.
the berm will still be
So
there.
it's okay, yeah, because that's the only thing that's gonna save our butt during the winter. Okay.
All right, so we'll see you on the 25th.
Let's talk about across the street.
Excuse me?
Do you want to talk
No,
about
yeah,
across the street?
yeah, we have another issue there. There's Charlotte, you want to bring us up
They
to
do have
date?
an 8:30 fire station, but I'm happy to do as quick as you want. I don't want to leave unfinished.
So Charlotte, what's happening here?
This is also the buffer zone to James Brook. I think you said you were replacing a wall
Correct.
or, yeah.
Do you have a sample? Did you take a picture of the sample? I can see it in the corner down there.
Oh, I didn't know
Is
that
that
was.
So-
what it is?
I just was around there like the other day and I saw that you put the erosion controls in. So
We
that
did.
was like, since the site walk, the erosion controls have been put in there.
So this, we had a conversation about, and the first conversation was, it's not part of the scenic byway, and there were some emails that went back and forth, and I will not throw anyone under the bus. I'm comfortable under the bus. So, we removed the rubble wall, and then I think Takashi went down, he said, you gotta file for a scenic byway, and so we did that, and then Charlotte called me, and, once again, whether that wall or the one further down, that set the precedent in my mind, and here we are. So they expect that this wall, even though it's been started and it's kind of well on its way, within a month, that'll be done.
Okay, questions from the board. Let's start with Peter.
Did that boundary get knocked around or?
There was one down below that they lifted out of the hole so that they could get by it, so you didn't knock it back out and put it right back in the same hole.
Okay,
That one did not. That's not the one.
okay, is that when it gets straightened out?
You can straighten it out if you want, but we try not to move boundaries.
Okay, 'cause it's like,
Yeah, because
Especially seeing it's a felony.
that's all I got.
All right, Larry?
That's a sample of the wall down the other end.
The one at the other end is a granite two-face wall. This will be a field stone three-face wall. So both sides and the top.
Take it. That's all I got.
Ben?
I have no questions about this.
Olin?
I just want to make sure all this loose dirt doesn't end up in this culvert, which goes right across the street into James Brook. So that's really my only concern here. What has been done since this picture's been taken?
You got wattles in them.
Okay, and the wattles are, If there's a rainstorm and this muddy stuff over here, are the waters gonna protect it from going into the culvert?
I think so.
All right, that's really my main concern. We'll take a look at that on the sidewalk too.
Okay, you good? John?
I don't have anything.
I think this should be an after the fact filing. This is not agriculture here.
No, it's definitely not.
So, you know, it's gonna go up Peabody Street.
Then you really should, well, I guess we don't,
What do you?
Yeah,
I
up
just
Peabody
wanna-
Street, you don't have any jurisdiction.
yeah, I'm just thinking about that. Oh, this is sort of wet.
Just as
around
an early
the corner.
spot, you got jurisdiction right here.
Yeah, we're within 200 feet of the river at this, of the stream here. So I guess the question for the board is, does an after the fact filing seem reasonable? John?
I have a question before that.
Sure, John.
Is James Brook considered riverfront?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
it dries out a lot,
Not at this point.
not now, but in the summertime it dries out.
I don't think it dries out.
So, John, can I jump in on that?
Sure, please.
Because we went down that, we had a study done on whether it was an intermittent stream, whether it was a brook, whether it was a this, whether it was a that. In the amount of years that it was dry, it didn't qualify as a brook and it didn't qualify as whatever. And I'm no expert, I'm no hydrologist, I'm not of that, any of that. But it didn't qualify, from my recollection during the construction process, when we had to hire someone to go and monitor that you're right, that there are times that it was dry, you could walk down through to get powder on your shoes. So it didn't qualify as a brook or stream or consistently 360 day or
Yeah,
180 days of flow a year.
Is it with the USDS?
that was my question.
Yeah, it's a perennial, the question is it a perennial stream or not? The perennial stream has an impact on the 200 foot. Of
Right.
course, we still have the 100 foot.
Yeah, but, man, well,
So so believe me, I've danced these dances for 40 years and there's nothing to be gained by me trying to snow anybody. But I do recall, one, your point, John, the other, yes, we've got a culvert there, we've got two culverts, but we also have a road, we have a number of other impermeable structures that is not gonna be able to have the water migrate through, and the water from the site is controlled and moving in a direction. Who's in that picture? Are those people just walking?
That's the commission.
Oh, so you guys have already been there?
Yeah, we were there last Saturday.
Oh, thanks for the call.
You know, as he just said, they're going to say something, the commission's going to say something that just makes this hilarious, and I probably shouldn't have interrupted. But they did a sidewalk on a public sidewalk, and he just said, "Oh, you went down there already? Oh, well, thanks for the call." Well, they don't have to call anybody if they're going to go walk down a sidewalk. And just because your site happens to be visible from a public sidewalk, good grief. Anyway, I'm going to let this go now.
Oh, we stayed on the sidewalk, so.
It's okay. But anyhow, you know, it's not as clear. If I was on the other side of the road or if I was up against the Nashville River, I assure you that I'd have been here. I've done this too many times.
So anyway, the question before the board is, where do you want to go here? Anybody?
I think it should be a filing, if nothing else, just to nail down whether this is jurisdictional or not. Because the filing says we come to determination it's not, then you've got that in your records.
I think we've already got it in our records.
Well, the filing would, I'm not convinced of that, but the filing would certainly determine that one way or the other.
Yep. After the fact RDA.
A quick question, was this in the original plans for the whole entire site that may have been approved, or is this a new structure? Like, was this stone wall planned many years ago when the whole entire site was
There
planned?
was a stone wall there.
You're just replacing it, okay.
Yeah, but then we have a COC on the rest of the process. So we have to-
Okay.
So whatever you want.
I'm leaning toward after the fact RDA, just to wrap this thing up.
Gotta keep it simple.
Yeah.
Keep it simple, keep it easy.
And it might be it's not jurisdictional, then we'll have it in writing, so.
Yeah, of course, that's one of the potential findings of an RDA is it's not jurisdictional.
Right.
And so that's a potential outcome. So I'm hearing that we would like you to submit a RDA for the work on
Before or after?
As soon as
as soon as possible.
The wall's already being built. So,
Yeah.
Do we want him to stop work on the wall?
No.
I think if he's got erosion controls, well, how about we have the administrator go out and inspect the erosion controls, and if she's satisfied with them, then we can allow him to proceed with work. How's that?
Okay, that works.
So in other words, we're stop work until Charlotte
Well, I
requests.
don't,
Okay, I'll go tomorrow.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Again, I mean, we got people down there working, so do you wanna get this done, or do you wanna leave it exposed so it's a bigger problem? And here's why I'm concerned, Olin. I say to these guys, you gotta do a stop work, they could be gone for 2 or 3 weeks.
I don't want him to stop work.
No,
She said she'd be down there tomorrow.
What's that?
You said you'd be down there tomorrow, didn't you?
You got my number?
okay.
Yeah, she'll come down tomorrow.
Okay. I'm not getting shot at.
And you won't stop work.
You can talk to the guys that are there if there's a problem.
Okay.
Okay, but I'm expecting a filing, as soon as you can get it done. But in the meantime, I'm hearing the commission is okay with the work continuing as long as the erosion controls are in place. Does that work for you?
Perfect.
Okay, great. That's all we have, I guess, on that one, unless the
Do you
public
still
would
want
like
me
to
on the
weigh in.
25th?
Excuse me?
Do you still want me on the 25th?
Oh, yes, please.
Time.
Okay.
What time?
We start at 6:30, but I think when we get the schedule fleshed out, we can give you a more firm time, so that we're not having to wait.
That'd be great.
Thank you, Gary.
Thank you much.
Okay, thanks. Next one is 500 Main Street. We have. Next up is a.
Okay, let me get this out of here. I'm going to, all right, let me bring me back up. Get them, I gotta reconfigure, because one thing you may have heard, I mean, they have a lot of concerns, and they said you can continue working, but also we need an RDA. They need, in other words, a filing. He has to file for an RDA, and whatever. And I think it's very clear that Gary even asked, do you want me here on the 25th? They were very clear, yes, we want you here on the 25th. Let's see if that worked. See what happened next. There's more here. Let me it's going to take me a second to figure this out now. I have to change meetings. This will take me a second. Oh my. I'm going to we're going to go to the 25th now. If I can find the I love Groton channel has a really cool way of doing this. This must be it. It's got to be it.
Land management, there's a few issues. We should talk about, or at least I would like to talk about Groton Hills. Groton music, Groton Home Music. Because
Yes, that's right, and the wall.
yeah, so
Yeah,
let me
this
put
was
up
the right
some
one.
pictures
Okay.
here.
And we got the letter from Mr. Black, Dr. Black.
I'll get there. I was there.
Let's wait for it to come up here. Come on.
There it is.
So I went and looked at this today, and so this picture is from earlier today.
A little bit of water
and
there.
This is what it looks like behind there. So there's actually more space between the end of that big dirt mound and James Brook over to the right of this picture than it appears from the road. They're not like immediately up. It's almost like, the old road is still there. And you can see they meanwhile put straw wattles in. And this gives you another sense for how far away it is from James Brook. So that's the state of things. And I guess that's about as well stabilized as it's going to be over the winter. I'm not sure what else we can do. I'm worried if we tell them to move that big berm, all the dirt that's going to come down that hill when it rains. Right now, that berm is actually holding it back. So I kind of want them not to move that berm until next spring when we can start stabilizing it. So I don't know what we tell them to do here, but that's.
Well, I kind of wish John was here. I don't understand what the purpose of plowing everything down the hill if he's gonna put it all back up on the hill again.
I didn't catch that either.
Probably because.
He wanted to sort out the rocks and stubs from it before they respread it back up.
Right, so it's probably easier to push it down the hill, then remove the stumps and whatnot, and then push it back up and then removed.
Yeah.
But that's my guess. Now, we left it last week, last meeting, that he should apply for an RDA. Is that how we left it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I thought that was for the stone wall, but I don't think
that's
we
what I thought
recommended.
too.
That was for the what? I'm sorry, Ben?
For the stone wall, the project that was happening over by the entrance to the music center, but I don't think we recommended an RDA for this. I think we kind of left it hanging, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, because there was some question about agricultural activity. and all
Right,
that.
that's
Correct. Yeah.
It's discussion. Peter?
Well, I went and started reading about agricultural preservation restrictions. And it turns out that there's a lot of restrictions on agricultural preservation restrictions. And nothing, there are no exemptions. I mean, everything can be exempted, but he needs approvals for a lot of this stuff. And if you're going to do anything, just for an example, if you're going to have a farm stand, if you're going to have housing, if you're going to have dwellings, alternative energy systems, any other agriculturally related things, or if you're going to excavate soil or any kind of subdivisions, you have to have a certificate of compliance for that. And to get a certificate of compliance, that comes from the Massachusetts Department of Agricultural Resources. And if you're going to do anything on the land that, and this has nothing to do with wetlands, this is anything in the agricultural area that that is going to be of any drastic nature, you have to have it reviewed by the Department of Agricultural Resources. And if they think, yeah, that's cool, they'll give you this certificate of approval. And that could come with conditions. It's kind of like our order of conditions. And they'll also have a thing that's kind of like our certificate of compliance. So they do the same kind of things we do in wetlands, only for APRs. So there's no such thing as, well, I'm exempt because I'm in agriculture. They are exempt from the Wetlands Protection Act for a lot of things, but not really, because they have to tell us whenever they're within 200 feet of a stream. They have to tell us whenever they're within 100 feet of a wetlands. They can do a lot of stuff, and we can make recommendations or tell them how to do it, and they can do it, but they have to tell us. The one thing I question here is, what is the definition of soil excavation? In my mind, that kind of sort of looks like excavation. And I doubt that I don't know if he's notified the Department of Agricultural Preservation or Agricultural Resources or not.
Sure, yes.
And I've got to go through and read. This is all in 330 CMR 22.0. And I'm going to have to go through and further educate myself on that. But it's a whole bunch of stuff. And there's a whole thing to do about how to notify them, how to get the certificates, what to do if there's violations.
You notice one thing very important here, that he had agreed, Gary Shepherd had agreed to be at this meeting on this date, and he decided not to go. Guess he didn't think it was important. And hearing this information about MDAR, Massachusetts Department of Agricultural Resources, they cover a lot of things. And there's a whole process that Gary was supposed to follow. Now, conservation may not have any authority over whether or not he's following MDAR, but we're going to hear what they're going to do about this. But there's a whole many more things that are coming out at this meeting than this commission even knew about last meeting. So it's very interesting. And when we get to the end, or closer to the end, you'll find out what impact this is going to have.
Who's responsible, and I got to find out if we're named as a conservation commission as part of being responsible for this sort of thing, because somewhere in here it also, I think, mentions that, you know, if we hold an APR on this, then we sort of have some responsibility also. So I gotta figure out that part in my own mind.
So they need to find out what they're saying is they need to find out an agricultural restriction is very similar to a conservation restriction. And it's a little different stuff, but same concept. And somebody has to hold the restriction. And most likely somebody in Groton holds the restriction. And he wants to find out not only who's holding the restriction, but what their responsibilities are. They're the board that's finding this out. And I don't know at this point whether the Conservation Commission holds the restriction or some other board in Groton holds the restriction, or if it's just a generic Groton. But we'll find out.
And I also took a look at the APR, and the APR for this parcel has similar language in it about excavation. And I had Charlotte dig this thing out, which is the APR that was the original APR, and that's got no loam, peat, fill, gravel, and all of that stuff can be excavated. And and we're the definite ones responsible for all of that. So anyway, I think that we have to take a closer look at this on both sides of the street.
Do we need help from town council, you think, Peter?
I don't know, Bruce. I just don't want to try to make too big a thing of this, but I also don't want us to get in trouble either.
I have some suggestions what we can do here.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Owen.
I think that what we should do is have Charlotte contact MDAR and let them know this is going on. They probably know a whole lot more about all this stuff than we do. And we should keep an eye on it, but let's see what their reaction to all this is.
So what is that agency?
MDAR, Massachusetts Department of Agricultural Resources.
Yeah.
I don't know who in there it is the right person, but they're the ones that administer the APR program. They're the ones who hold the restriction, that's the APR.
Yeah, and if you want to take a look at the act, it's 330 CMR 22.
So I would leverage their expertise.
Yeah, because
they know this stuff.
They know what this is and what this isn't.
We're the wetlands expert. They're the farm people experts. So
Yeah.
I would say let's start with that and let's see what they say, and we'll go from there.
And I would just summarize the work that's been done.
Yeah, and you can show them these pictures. I can send you the pictures, and probably the pictures are better than anything else.
Question for us.
Again, if this is okay, then that's okay, and let it go. But if it's not okay, again, I don't want to make a big deal out of nothing, but I also don't want us to get in trouble for not doing something that we should have done. And this is out of my.
So Peter, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
So what you cited seems to require the landowner with an APR on it to do certain things. Did you find anything about what it exempts them from in terms of the Wetlands Protection Act or bylaw? Was there anything that you found in that regard?
He's not exempted, well, yeah, he can do all kinds of things when he comes before us as far as the wetlands. When he strays into the 100-foot buffer, he has to tell us. Let me see.
Yeah, but telling us is not the same thing as being exempt from any work, right?
Correct.
APRs don't suddenly magically get you around the Wetlands Protection Act. There's already all kinds of agriculture exemptions in the Wetlands Protection Act, which apply, of course.
Right. That's my understanding.
That would be in 10.4 under agriculture, where most of them are hidden. There's also some in 52.
Yeah, they're kind of spread out,
Yeah.
which
it's
is
not-
what confuses me.
Yeah.
Me too.
Start with 10.4 agriculture, but you may have to look in 52 and 53.
We definitely need to let the MDR know what's going on here.
Yeah, they'll know a lot more about that. So, is there anything more we should do here with this tonight?
Hang on one second.
Okay.
Are we the grantor?
We are the grantee.
Grantee.
Are we,
grant- the
are we
grantor
actually
is-
involved in that?
huh?
Lou?
We're not involved in this in any way, are we?
Yeah, I didn't think we were.
Oh, yeah, we're the grantee of the APR.
I thought MDR would be.
No, of the APR.
We hold the APR, not MDR?
It says Conservation Commission here.
Oh, interesting.
That's interesting.
APR, yeah, it's gonna $1,750 a grant to the Commonwealth of Massachusetts through Commissioner of the Conservation Commission, an agricultural representative, acting through its Conservation Commission as agricultural preservation restriction perpetuity.
I think we need Charlotte to
Groton.
dig into this and figure out, educate us on it.
Okay, so we definitely want to look into this and find out where we stand and what's
We got the
exempt
money.
and what's not, right? But what we want to figure out tonight is,
We
where do
spent
we
the money.
stand with him tonight?
We
Has he been told,
bought it.
is there an enforcement order to stop work?
No, there's not.
There's not.
No,
So-
because I feel like the commission allowed him to continue as long as erosion controls were in place.
And he did put them up. He put these straw wattles in the bottom.
So
Yeah.
that was the impression that I got, and that was the impression he got.
Well, let's get hold of them and find out what should happen
Yeah,
and notify them that this is going on.
and then we'll revisit this next meeting.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, so then there's this issue. Oops, sorry, it's not updating. Slowly, come on. Wow, that's a long lag. I've already updated my screen. There it goes. So this is the stone wall. So this is again taken earlier today. And they actually started building the stone wall, which is
They've been
interesting.
building it all week.
Yeah, well, I wasn't by there all week.
Mhm.
2 weeks ago, it was just gravel. And now they're actively putting the stone wall up. I thought the way we'd left it 2 weeks ago that he was gonna file an RDA for this. That was my understanding.
That was mine.
My understanding was a retroactive RDA.
Mhm.
Well, retroactive for what he'd already done. I didn't think that meant he was gonna,
Right.
because an RDA is asking for permission, now he's gonna go do it anyway.
And he hasn't filed.
No, I asked him to follow up with me on that, and I think he will. It's just,
When?
I don't know.
Yeah, so he's
So-
gonna
so
wait
he
till it's all
said-
done.
Yeah, I mean, he thought that this meeting, he said will do, and then I think he thought he was supposed to be here at this meeting, and I said, no, because you haven't filed the RDA yet.
Oh.
Tell him to file it.
I think maybe we
I
should
think-
stop work until we get filing. I mean, I thought we were pretty nice to him last time.
Gary will string us along until the wall is done.
Right.
You know, we should have learned with the whole music center. We should have learned with that.
they know Gary. They've been through this before, and he just turns things around. They did tell him to be at this meeting. Apparently, Charlotte, who's their agent, told him he didn't have to be there because he hadn't filed the RDA. But now, because he hadn't filed the RDA and he's not at this meeting, they're issuing a stop work order.
I think a stop work is in order because he's gonna, like Peter said, the only way to get his attention is to stop work. And then he'll be here and he'll be ready for next meeting.
His impression was that he could continue work as long as the erosion controls were in place.
On this part too?
On this part?
Yep.
Oh,
Yeah, that's my impression as well. That's how I left the last meeting.
oh, okay. Well,
We were pretty light.
Yeah.
What was that?
He's also very good at confusing the issue.
Yeah.
okay, so we may have erred there. So what do we do now?
Well, we need the retroactive RDA.
And since he hasn't filed it, I think we can say, look, you had 2 weeks to file this thing. We were being nice. Now we're not nice anymore. We're gonna stop work until we get a filing, and then we're gonna decide what to do.
I can live with that.
I like that, yeah,
So
I
how
think
would
that's
we-
where we are.
How would we do that?
I guess the mechanism would be an enforcement order.
Okay. I'm not in the
Yeah.
office tomorrow, and I won't get back till Monday.
Send it on Monday.
Monday? Okay.
Yeah, these guys are probably not gonna work over Thanksgiving weekend either.
Oh, okay, yeah.
They might be working tomorrow, but that's it.
Yeah, but I mean, it's
They'll work tomorrow,
Thanksgiving, the
work
day
Friday.
after Thanksgiving is probably, yeah.
The center
Okay.
section will all be done.
Yeah, right. I hate to have this go even further before we get filed.
But if Gary even gets the stop work order, even if it's done, he'll still get the stop work order, he'll get the enforcement order, he'll understand.
Yes, look, we gave you some slack and you didn't do anything. Our mistake for giving him the slack, but oh well, there we are.
Okay, do
So
we need a
what's-
motion?
Will we issue an enforcement order
For Groton Hills Music.
for Rotten Hill Music?
So it wouldn't go to Gary, it would go to Groton Hill Music?
Well, yeah, they're the landowner,
Yeah,
absolutely.
Rotten Hill Music.
So to add complication, the stop work order is going to go to the property owner, who's not Gary. It's Groton Hills Music.
For the stone wall.
To stop work within 100 feet of James Brook.
That would take care of
Second.
two birds with one stone.
What?
2 birds, 1 stone.
Well, okay, yeah, that could be, I don't want to get into the APR part, so,
Don't
yeah, no, we don't want to do that.
call a vote.
Do we have a second?
Yes, you did, Bruce did.
Bruce seconded? I'm sorry. Bruce?
Yeah, that's right. Bruce, I.
Ben?
Ben, I.
Olin?
Ol and I.
Peter?
Peter, I.
Larry, aye. Done. Okay. Now, thank you for that, Olin, and Peter, and Bruce, and Charlotte, and Ben.
So what's next?
Okay, so let me get out of this now and bring myself back up and get rid of them. So it sounds like they're fed up and they're confused about, well, how are we going to handle this with whatever Gary's expecting, or whatever Gary's doing. And so they've issued a stop work order because of the stone wall and what's behind me, as well, to a point. The stop work order is only related to conservation issues, and that's primarily the stone wall and some of the erosion controls that have been put up behind me. I think they're okay with at the moment. That's subject to change. But the stop work order, what's interesting about the stop work order is Charlotte, who's their agent, didn't do the stop work order until Monday of this week that we just had. And then I forgot what day. I'm losing track. I think it was Tuesday. When did we have the snowstorm? So she was out. This meeting was right before Thanksgiving. And then we had the Thanksgiving holiday. And then Charlotte wasn't going to be around until Monday. So she did the stop work order on Monday. And then we had the snowstorm. And so there's snow all over the place. So I'm assuming that not a whole hell of a lot of work's getting done anyway. So I don't know what where Gary's head is right now. He's probably still not happy. I'm sure he still doesn't like the fact that people are telling him what to do. He doesn't usually handle that very well. But he's under a stop work order. Now, the secondary issue is the APR, the Agricultural Protection Restriction. And that they're kind of in a holding pattern. They are definitely responsible. They identified, they even read from the document that the restriction, that the holder of the restriction is the Conservation Commission. So they are responsible for making sure that Gary follows the rules of that. And it's not just, oh, it's agriculture. I can just do agricultural stuff. I can just till the fields. I can do whatever I want. And that's not true. As it turns out, it's not like you're a private, if I got a garden, I can go till it. And if you have private owner where you're deciding to just do agricultural work on your property, that where there's no wetlands, you can do it. But this is an agricultural protection. I think the P is for protection, restriction. And Massachusetts Department of Agriculture regulates that, and very closely, because they want to make sure that, because this APR is in perpetuity. This is not a temporary thing that, well, somebody can decide, well, we want to put housing over there now. We need housing space, and this will work out well. We could put we can do multifamily dwellings right there. Lots of room. There's a lot of room. You can put lots of houses in there, or a whole big city. Nope, it's APR in perpetuity. So this needs to always be agricultural land, and it needs to be protected. In fact, the P is probably for protection. I can't remember. He just said it earlier too, and I don't remember. But it needs to be protected. So I think one of the reasons that MDAR is required to be involved or to oversee or to enforce. They're not the enforcer. I mean, MDAR, they do have enforcement authority, believe me. But they have to be consulted, and they regulate what you can do with agricultural land, in particular if it's under APR, because this needs to be agricultural land 200 years from now, unless it goes underwater with climate change. But as long as people, whoever's here, as long as Groton exists, as long as Massachusetts exists, as long as the land exists, this needs to be maintained in the best way forward as agricultural land. Everybody's got to be on board to keep this from being poisoned, from being impacted by anything, especially human beings, especially activities caused by people that could make it no longer usable as agricultural land. And that's why, in my opinion, MDAR is someone they have to get a hold of in order to find out what needs to be permitted, what oversight needs to be done. And this is much greater, much more restrictive than what Gary is used to with his personal property in Townsend. In fact, Groton, it appears, they're just figuring this out, that they weren't aware of what the involvement of MDAR until I didn't catch his name. I don't remember, but he looked up the APR. Which that's why if you're on a board or commission, you can't leave it to your administrative person. You can't leave it to some other board member. You need to take the responsibility and look things up yourself. I don't care what board you're on. You really do, because you'll be holding the bag. Somebody, and it will go down badly, and it could cost you or your town a lot of money. So they're doing the right thing. I really like the interaction with these guys and men and women because they're looking at things and looking things up. And he looked up what the APR requirements are, and he looked up what the Mass General Law is, and he saw the involvement with MDAR. And so they've tasked Charlotte to contact MDAR. I think one of the board members might also contact MDAR. I'm not quite sure if that was decided, but they need to find out exactly there was some language in the law about turning the soil and excavating soil. What does that exactly mean? And the work, so what it could mean, I'm not saying it does, but it could mean that just the work that he's done behind me requires permitting. And where the Conservation Commission, agriculture isn't necessarily their level of expertise, but they're going to have to start getting it if they are the restriction holder for this property, or for if there is another APR. I don't know if they may have another APR somewhere else in town, but for this property, they better come up to speed on what the requirements are. I mean, MDAR they're very nice. I'm a beekeeper, and MDAR regulates what I do and regulates beekeeping's one of the easier ones, but there's a few rules we have to follow and get inspections and things like that. But so they're very nice to work with, at least the beekeeping side. They're very nice. But when it comes to this, I think that I think Groton and Gary are both going to find out that there's a lot more responsibility and restrictions and permitting and a more extensive process that you can't just ask forgiveness instead of permission on. I think this is very important. And I'm glad to see that Groton Conservation is holding Gary to task, and they're not giving him special privileges or anything. They know him. I mean, you heard him say, well, we know Gary, why we got to learn. He just twists things around, and he's going to be all tied up in a knot if MDAR is going to be up his butt on some of this stuff. And he's going to, I know he doesn't like people to tell him what to do. And he's supposedly has a lot of agricultural experience. And I don't know if he's ever dealt with MDAR or not. We'll find out. This saga is going to continue. And just to let you know where this is going, we have another meeting on Tuesday. I forgot what time it is. I have to check the Townsend meeting schedules. I think today is Saturday. Monday, we have a marathon select board meeting that's going to be transgressing over multiple rooms. Is starting at 3:00 Monday, and it'll be a lot of joint meetings. And I think I said there had 7 executive sessions. I won't be able to record that, but I will be live streaming the select board meeting tomorrow. Monday, it's not tomorrow. Tuesday, if there is no conflict, or I'll have to judge the conflicts, check what meetings are up on the board for Tuesday, and but I'm going to try to live stream this. They have a Zoom. They do Zoom, so I'll try to live stream this next meeting because it should be very interesting because they should have some answers. This meeting the second meeting I just showed you was on November 25th. So we're into December. Today's the 6th. So we're talking December 9th for the meeting between Charlotte and any other board member that's going to do some research with MDAR. That should be all worked out, or the information should be available for the 9th. And hopefully we'll get blessed with the appearance of Gary Shepherd on Tuesday. It'll be in the evening sometime. I don't remember what time their meeting was actually scheduled, but I'm going to try to live stream it when it's up because it'll be on Zoom. It'll be available. So I'm going to give that a shot. They also, the reason I know all this stuff is I called Groton. Of course, the the meeting for the 9th is, the meeting's posted, their agenda's up. You can look, it's at Town of Groton, on their town website, not the Groton Channel's website. The meeting for the 9th is posted, and this is on the agenda. They're also going to have another meeting on the 23rd of December, which is also about the work Gary's doing. It keeps changing. Everything that, whatever happens on Tuesday will get kind of mixed up a little bit in a blender on high, but it'll be set. So, but by the time they get to the 23rd, the plan right now, because of the RDA, is going to be, I believe that's what the 23rd is about. Yes. Tuesday's about the enforcement order and whatever they come up with the MDR stuff. And the 23rd is supposed to be on the RDA. So we shall see. It's all going to be shaken up in a blender. I don't know. Should be interesting. But I think this is interesting stories. When I have a second, what I want to do is also show you what happens in Townsend when somebody talks about Gary at a conservation. It's a whole different story. It's a whole different story. And we'll discuss that if I ever get around to doing it. I keep trying to do all kinds of videos, and it's tough. This isn't like it's a full-time job here. It's not a job at all. It's totally volunteer. Again, I just want to reiterate, I do not make any money on this stuff. This is all just my hobby to do these things. And I have other things I like to do in my life. But I really feel, I feel obligated, because I know a lot of people are becoming dependent on getting information, and for me to give it to you, because nobody else is. The town of Townsend is not given any information about anything. In fact, they're trying to restrict as much as they can. I'm going to be doing a video also on the status of the open meeting law complaint that I filed against the water department. I'm finalizing my response to send up to the HRO. And once I finish that, I'm going to bring that back to you. I'm also preparing a mega open meeting law complaint. I'm going to hold that. I'm going to hold information back on that, but I do have one that I'm going to be preparing, and it's quite interesting. But once I have it in, once I've got it ready to go, I'll explain it better. It's going to be a shocker. Some people aren't going to like it, and other people are going to go, "Oh yeah, wow, that's not right. You're right, it's not right." But anyway, and then while I have your attention, if you're watching this today is Saturday, right? Yeah. Tomorrow, I was going to do a video, and I didn't get to it. I've just been out straight, and I was so tired last night. I took a nap, but before 5 o'clock, I was out cold. I was just tired. I don't know. But anyway, Sunday, tomorrow at 2 p.m., the Townsend Historical Society, which is it's a nonprofit organization dedicated to preservation of historic sites in Townsend. And they have a board of directors, and they've got all kinds of things. They're involved with a lot of things, and I'll save that issue. There's some issues, but it's a membership organization. And if you would like to be involved with historic preservation in Townsend and get more information and learn about the history in Townsend and be involved with the historic preservation of things, places, people, well, not people. Well, there's people in history, and to learn, it's really great. And to be part of that. A lot of people in town are, but if you want to learn more, it's a great time now for you to join the Historic Association. And at 2 o'clock tomorrow at Town Hall, they're actually having their annual meeting. And even if you're not a member, you're invited to come, only if you're going to join. If you want to join the Historic Association, you can go to Town Hall in the Great Hall, right, the same place we have town meetings, or you vote, the same room. And you go in there, and they're going to have a meeting and they're going to elect the next slate of officers to be on the board of directors. So I just want to encourage people, if you never heard of this before, or if you want to learn more about the history in Townsend, go down to town hall and sign up. I think it's $15, $15. It's the low. There's different levels. You can be the lowest member. Then I don't remember who's who, but they've got just when you go, just come on down, and when you go there, they'll ask you which level of membership you want, and they'll explain it to you. It's not a trick, and yeah, you get to. I think you get some. This might be some perks attending certain events for nothing or discount or something. I don't remember. I'm a member. I just don't remember what the perks are. I'm really not all that active. I like to. I mean, it's just another thing to know about who some of the players are in Townsend. If you want to also, I mean, it's a great way to get an inside scoop on some of the other goings on in Townsend because, it's the same people, but the same people plus, let's put it this way, just regular citizens who just are interested in what's going on in Townsend. It's not a government group. They hold a meeting in the town hall because it's the best place to have it. And it's probably traditional or something. But it's not a government group. It's a nonprofit organization. So come on down to town hall tomorrow, join the organization and participate in the election of officers and learn about the organization. I think they might have, I haven't been to this. This is my first time being a member for this event. So I don't know how it's going to be, but I just want to invite everybody who has any you don't have to live in Townsend to participate in this either. You can live in another town or city or fly in from Chicago, whatever works. If you can get a plane. Anyway, come on down tomorrow and we'll deal with that. And then otherwise, I'll be doing more videos between now and whenever. I'll definitely have on my agenda is Monday, select board, and hopefully Tuesday I can do Groton, but I got to check the agenda for Townsend to see. Worst case, Groton would be a recording, but I think they put their videos up right away, so I wouldn't have to wait for, like in Townsend, TCAM can take a week to 2 weeks to get a video up. Groton, I think, puts it up right away. So that will be, I can delay. If I can't do it live, I can get the recording right away. So I'll be able to bring that to you. So, okay, that's all I have for right now. We've been here about an hour and a half going over the trials and tribulations of Gary Shepherd dealing with Groton conservation. And we all learned a little bit about what an APR is, what an agricultural restriction thing is. Okay, thanks for watching. And, oh, yes, don't forget, where am I? Where is it? Oh, no, I got to play this for you. Is this it? That's it. So if you haven't, while you're here, hit the like button. It's really helpful. It keeps the algorithm going. And if you're not subscribed, please consider subscribing. In fact, just subscribe if you can change your mind later. But that also helps. And you'll also be notified if you hit the notification bell, you have to select which kind of notifications you want. But if you want to be notified when my videos are coming up, you'll get a notification. It doesn't cost anything. It's free. And I do not make any money. I know there's some people in town who do not want to watch my channel because they don't want me to make money on this. I don't make any money. I'm not even eligible to make any money. If you look on the bottom underneath the video here, it shows how many subscribers are on my channel. I don't have enough. I'm not even eligible for money. I'm not eligible for monetization, as they say. In YouTube language, we talk about monetization. Are you monetized? Nope. And you can tell by looking at my channel that I'm not, because I'm not even eligible. And anybody that knows anything, so these blabbermouths running around town saying, no, she's going to get money. I don't. And I really don't want any. I'm doing this out of my pure enjoyment, and that's how it stands right now. If all of a sudden something ballooned and went crazy and I got thousands of subscribers, I might reconsider my options. but right now I'm really not. I'm not driving for that. I am driving to get more views, and I'm trying to get more subscribers too, but mostly because of the reason that it gets more information out to the people in the area. And I want to expand a little bit into the surrounding communities and maybe state or national issues. But it's I got to have a lot of time on my hands, and I sometimes have time on my hands, but I do other things. I'm not just focused on I got to do YouTube and YouTube only. No, I do other things. Okay. So thanks for watching, and thanks for being here, and I really appreciate it, and I will see you on the next video, or I'll see you Sunday at Town Hall. Have a good one. Stay warm.